Morning, Tom.
Morning, Kevin. Morning, James.
Morning, Tom. Right, Tom, you live in Stockport, you're a Stockport County fan. What do you think's going on at County? I mean, they're struggling at the moment, aren't they, in their league? They lost 2-1 to York last Saturday, and they're only sixth.
Did they draw as well on the week before as well with was it Tamworth that they drew 1-1 with?
It was Newport.
Sorry, Newport. 10 men Newport was that as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 late-minute goals there, Kev. We conceded late at home against Newport, and we had 3 points there. And with 5 minutes to go, we were 1-0 up away at York. But again, 2 late goals is what's costing us. But in the whole, Jim Gannon's doing a really good job on his return. We're much more difficult to beat now than what we were under Dietmar Hamann. So things are going in the right direction. Hopefully we'll just get there before we run out of games.
The only thing is, though, you're 6th place from the bottom now on 39 points. You're 1 point from the bottom 4, but you play more games, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. We played a couple more games than everybody else. We've got the bottom 5 still to play coming up in the next few weeks, so they're going to be the real important games, and that's what will either keep us up or send us down. And 4 of those games against the bottom 5 are away from home. Right. So that's going to be the real key and the real test for Jim Gannon. And I think if we can win 3 of those 5 against the teams at the bottom and still pick a few points up at home, I think we'll just have enough to stay up. And because otherwise you've got teams such as Darlington, who you were speaking about earlier, and Kettering, that might not see the end of the season. So
yeah,
it could be staying first and bottom, even though there's 4 relegation spots, might be enough to keep us up, sadly enough.
Yeah. What do you think about the crowds? Are they holding up at County?
Yeah, under Jim, they're holding up a lot better. But we never saw 3,000 until James came back in. But last home crowd was 3,500, which is about 800 up than what it's normally been. So they're starting to come back, and hopefully they'll all come and support Stockport. And if United and City haven't got a game, hopefully a few of the United and City fans will come down and support us and just give us that extra lift to keep us up.
Do you know what? I'm a City fan. Well, I'm a bit greedy. I'm a Glasgow Rangers fan and also a Manchester City fan. And I've been to a few Stockport County matches as well. Just to watch Stockport County play football, and just to watch a football match, knowing it's not going to cost the earth, and that I'm going to enjoy myself. The only problem, however, was that I had a City top underneath my jacket, and I got vilified by these Stockport County fans in the pub. And I thought, well, I'd better just keep my jacket on. And not take it off. But it is it's a really great atmosphere.
Shirts around there, but honestly, at the end of the season now, we need everybody. United fans, City fans, Macclesfield fans. Whenever you haven't got a game, come down, cheer us on. We need all the money we can get at Stockport. We need as many people through the door as we can. Cheshire Sports aren't charging us rent for the next month, which is going to help financially. But it's bums on seats is what we need.
And it's not that expensive, really, is it, Stockport County? You look at some of the Premiership tickets and you think, wow, really, that's expensive. And if you just want to watch a decent game of football match, about 15 quid or something to watch a ticket out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right, pal. It's 15 quid to get in. Kids are normally a £5. That can vary from match day to match day. And I'm sure that they'll put a few specials on just to get everybody in for the last few games of the season. But yeah, it's not an expensive day out. You can just turn up on the gate if you fancy it on Saturday. And it's what we need. When we were doing well in the past and we got up to the Championship, half of our crowd was from United and City fans turning up when their teams didn't have a game to watch a good game of local football, and that's what we want. We need everybody in because our finances are a lot healthier than what they were 12 months ago. Right. But like most teams at that level, it's the bums on seats that will keep us going.
Can I ask you a question here, Tom, before I ask you about the boxing?
Yeah.
About these teams going into administration and getting 10 points. I was saying to James, I think the penalty is not strong enough. I think they should go down a division. What's your view? Because I know County's had a bit of problems financially over the years, haven't they?
Yeah, we have. We were in administration for 11 and a half months and 2 more weeks and we would have been out of business. But I agree that I don't think it's strong enough because for a 10-point deduction, if you go out and spend all these wages and buy all these superstars in, you're going to get a lot more than those 10 points than what you're going to be deducted when you go into administration. I don't think it's a big enough punishment at all. But really, I think the only way is to relegate these teams that go into administration because otherwise, as we've seen, teams are continuing to do it. And from what I believe, there's a lot more teams in the Premiership that the HRMC are going to investigate like they have done with Rangers in Scotland. So I think teams are going to have to live within the means, not paying the taxes, or we might see a few more of these sort of high-profile cases. which is sad, really, because we've got the best football league in the world, haven't we?
Yeah, but I do disagree with what you're saying there about they should get relegated to a different league, because you're saying that because they've got all these big players and they're paying £100,000 a week, they've gone into administration, so they can't pay them players £100,000 a week, so therefore they lose them players for a nominal fee. So I can't really say how you can justify saying that they get dropped to a lower league if they've got no money. I think they've got to survive with the players that they've got. They've got to get rid of all these great players. So I think it's, I think 10 points is sufficient enough, because, like I said, if they're going to get to Europe, they're going to lose European places with the 10 points, and they're going to get lower and lower and lower in the division. You're going to find it hard to get back into the zenith of what they were as a football power, and not without the players that they had to get them there.
Yeah, I see your point there, James, but the problem is, with the punishment not being big enough, and looking at this from a lower league club standpoint, is that teams can keep spending and looking for a sugar daddy, if you like, someone that's going to come in and bail them out, and that's what Rangers need, and Kettering need, and Portsmouth need. They need somebody to come in and bail them out, and with a sheikh or somebody with a big businessman to come in and just reduce and clear all the debts, and people aren't doing that anymore. And I just think it's so easy for clubs to go and spend beyond the means to keep winning trophies, to keep the fans happy. But the fans have got to take responsibility here, because the fans demand success. At Rangers, they demand that they win trophies season in, season out. And if you don't win a trophy, your manager's sacked and a new one comes in, and the whole cycle starts again. I think fans have got to get a little bit more realistic and support the club through thick and thin. And if the big teams don't win the Premiership, or they don't win an FA Cup one year, stick with your manager, because that, over time, that's been proved to be a winning formula. Look at Alex Ferguson at United.
Arsene Wenger as well, fair enough. They don't win it for 7 seasons, fair enough. But I mean, obviously they capitulated at the moment and not doing too well. But Arsene Wenger doesn't have some great players, isn't it, as well? So I see what you're saying and David Moyes, with keeping the managers and not getting rid of them.
Okay, Tom. The boxing, I'm going to ask you about that. You tried to watch it on Friday, didn't you? But the site was down, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Eventually, the Box Nation gave it everybody for free, because nobody could get through. So eventually, we're on to a winner. But I agreed with what James was saying earlier in the programme. I think it's an absolute disgrace. You made a good point about Hay having to be at the press conference. And Chisora, he did a good fight. He did well. He hung up well. I had a bet on him going inside three rounds. I really didn't think he'd make it all the way to points. So, but he's let himself down. And the scenes afterwards were just horrendous, and have completely let British boxing down. And are we going to get these big fights in America and in Asia? A lot more are going to Asia as well. Are we going to get these big fights if our boxers sort of behave in the way that they are doing?
What penalties do you think that Chisora and David Hay, if any, if you think it's deemed warranted, what penalties do you think they should get for that?
Well, David Hay, we can't punish, because he's retired, so unfortunately the WBA can't do anything. Chisora, I believe, was already on a final warning, because I know that he's bitten somebody a couple of years ago in the past in the ring. So Chisora, for me, I'd have no problem with a lifetime ban for him, but I think a few would. But I think he's got to be banned for 12 months minimum. And British boxing's got a really bad reputation at the moment, and also the news yesterday of Carl Froch has released.
He should have said that, should he?
No, you're right. He's released in his book that he made certain fights go on longer, just so that his family could bet on to get winning spread bets on what round that the fight was ended. And the reputation for British boxing is really going down, and which is a shame, because I know in the past we had a great heavyweight division, but I'm sure we can get back there. But these current fighters not doing it for me, and I think a lot of fans are switching off, especially with Danny Williams and Audley Harrison. I think they started it because they really weren't exciting boxers to watch, and that's what we want to see when we watch pay-per-views: exciting boxers and big punches.
Don't discount Tyson Fury yet, though. But what do you think should happen to David Hay then? Do you think because obviously he had a chance to renew his boxing licence in October, decided not to renew it, because obviously that's what he said he was going to retire in October anyway. Decided not to renew it. Do you think he should go into the normal courts of law? Or do you think he should, should have a talking to by the police?
Well, yeah, I think so. It's just whether the German police could sort of extradite him back, because he's in the UK now. I think he'd have to go back to Germany, and if he ever does go back to Germany, he'll be arrested. But yeah, I think he should do them live on telly, and they were brawling on telly. I mean, any publicity is great publicity for boxing, isn't it? But
not this one.
But for Frank Warren even to condemn his actions, then he must have done something wrong. So. I think he should. I think he should face ramifications from police. But I think this time he's going to get away with it. But that means he won't be able to go and box Klitschko, because as we all know, Klitschko's, they don't fight outside of Germany.
Nope.
I don't think Hayes going to be able to go back into Germany, which is a shame, because I don't know if you two agree, but I think Klitschko's legs started to go. He's 40 years old, and I think it just started to show on Saturday.
Yeah, well, he is 40, isn't he? But he's a damn good boxer, nonetheless. But it depends if David Haye breaks his toe, then he's in trouble.
I think he should give him the chance. David Haye, if he's that good a boxer as he says he is, get him in the ring.
But no, the thing with David Hayes, he said he was going to retire at 30, and he stayed on until he's 31, and now he's retired. That's what he wanted to do, retire. He didn't want to get punched drunk and anything and spend his money. But do you think that because of this this advertisement for boxing, if you like, do you think that David Haye and Derek Chisora are actually going to have a fight at some time later down later on?
Well, I think so. It's whether the purse is big enough, because Chisora's purse wasn't so big, was it, for this fight? And for David Haye, it's whether Chisora would bring enough money in as a boxer for it being worth him to come out of retirement. But saying now, with what's happened at the weekend, he might want to come back just to extract a bit of revenge. But I'm not certain the money's big enough for David Haye to come out to fight Chisora. I don't think that fight's going to happen. And I agree with what you said before. I think Tyson Fury is now the future, and hopefully he can get some big fights and we'll get behind him.
OK then, Tom. Are you OK next week to call and give us a bit more news about the county?
Yeah, of course I am, Kev. Everyone get down at Edsley Park, Wrexham, 3 o'clock, and the more the merrier.
OK, cheers, Tom.
Cheers, Tom.
Thanks
very much. Speak
Bye-bye.
to you next week. Cheerio go. That was Tom then on the phone. Eventually we got through to him, talking about county and the boxing. Give us a ring, 0161 499 0222, and
studio at wfmradio.org.
and we'll come back in 5 minutes when we got Richard Frost from Bellevue Speedway coming live on the telephone.
She was just a girl. She expected the world.